Chairman, thank you, Assistant Secretary Stilwell, for joining us today, almost 3 years into the Trump administration. It's nice to have a confirmed Assistant Secretary finally in place. I think you'll find a great deal of agreement on this committee about the importance of the Indo-Pacific for the future of our security and prosperity in addressing the China challenge. We all know the statistics about the region's economic dynamism, the number of the world's major militaries, the nuclear proliferation challenges, the governance challenges, the opportunity to grow regional architecture. Likewise, and I know it may be a surprise for some to hear this, but I agree with the Trump administration's idea behind its Indo-Pacific strategy. But the administration has yet to demonstrate how this strategy will be fully resourced and properly implemented, or that it is a policy that actually makes us more competitive with China, not just more confrontational towards China. China's rise presents something different from our experience of the past 240 years, a nation with an economy equal or greater than our own, and a competitor across every dimension of power. With Xi Jinping declaring himself president for life, cracking down on civil society and human rights, introducing an Orwellian system of mass surveillance, advancing militarily in the South China Sea, and economically in Africa and the Western Hemisphere. Over the past 3 decades, China has sought to emerge as a regional military hegemon, including through increasingly provocative behavior in the maritime domain, which directly affects U.S. interests, including the free flow of commerce, freedom of navigation, and in the peaceful resolution of disputes consistent with international law. When it comes to trade over the past decade, we have witnessed China increasingly bend the rules to its own benefit in order to secure its position as the world's second-largest economy. So we agree on the challenge, and I think we would all welcome the emergence of a China that follows established international economic rules, supports international institutions, laws, and norms. But thus far, the Trump administration's China policy does not seem to be having an effect in shaping or deterring China. For example, China's aggressive maritime activities in the South China Sea and ongoing building of infrastructure that could easily be turned to military use continues unchecked. China has yet to make any significant concessions on any of the deep structural issues at the heart of our trade and economic imbalance. Instead, China is going toe-to-toe in a good and easy-to-win trade war, and our economy is suffering. China's Belt and Road continues to expand and make inroads around the world. China continues to provide support for North Korea, even as North Korea continues to move forward with its missile and nuclear programs unconstrained, while the United States no longer conducts necessary military readiness exercises on the peninsula. China's digital authoritarianism continues apace, with ever greater repression at home and exporting fully installed systems for despots around the globe. China's great leap backwards on human rights and governance is gathering momentum, with the administration conspicuously silent as the people of Xinjiang and Tibet suffer and Chinese civil society space is crushed. Beijing continues to squeeze Taipei, including this week the loss of yet another of Taiwan's diplomatic allies on Trump's watch. The list goes on. If this is what winning with China looks like, I am truly tired to the point of exhaustion. We must remember that merely being more confrontational with China does not make us more competitive with China. We have to leverage all of the tools in our toolkit. We must resource the Indo-Pacific strategy. The administration is still far below the Indo-Pacific resourcing for our diplomacy and development of the final years of the Obama administration. Last week, I met with a senior elected official from an allied government in the region who told me that, quote, "We have to rebuild our crumbling alliance." I'm not naive enough to take what people tell me at face value, but one only has to look around the region to know that those words ring true. We have to address our own economic challenges and ensure America can compete with China as it assumes a global role through the Belt and Road Initiative. We must work with recipient Belt and Road countries to strengthen their ability to negotiate good terms for Chinese investment, or else risk having the rule of law in these developing nations washed away in a flood of Chinese cash. We can help set standards, offer technical and diplomatic support, stand up for human rights, including for labor and the environment, and support institutions that empower the weak to pursue justice with the strong. As I prepare new legislation to bolster our economic diplomacy and statecraft, I hope we can all agree that such efforts must be paired with bold efforts to prepare the American people to succeed in this new world. So let me end this morning by making one last comment that I share with the chairman about, and that's Hong Kong, which I know we'll address in the course of the hearing, and where I'm working with colleagues on bipartisan legislation on the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. The special character of Hong Kong is one of the world's great success stories. The vibrancy of the people of Hong Kong and their economic success and their yearning for democracy and self-governance is inspirational. It is critical that the United States stand with the people of Hong Kong. I've been disturbed by some of the rhetoric from the senior-most levels of this administration regarding Hong Kong over the past several months, as well as the suggestions that Hong Kong might be on the chopping block for a trade deal. So I look forward this morning, Mr. Secretary, to a clear and uncompromising statement about our support for the people of Hong Kong in their quest to maintain their self-governance and autonomy, to safeguard their human rights and their exercise of democratic freedoms, of speech, of assembly, to select their own leaders and to determine their own future. I hope that we'll hear that from you, and I thank the chairman.